In today's short exploration, we are taking you inside the ruins of the small castle standing before you. We also have a bit to tell you about what's on the way. This storied place is often missed by travelers, being hidden in the trees just off a main road in Aberdeen near the eastern coast of Scotland. Having rained all day and having passed many sites we were unable to record due to the weather, a lucky break allowed us to notch it off as a success. Because of the fact that the history of this site is much larger than its small ruin and it's never been done before, we've decided to bring it back to life for you. The castle first appears in history as the Manor of Asylums in the 1300s. The lands belonged to the Marischal family, but it was quickly passed by marriage to the Cheyne clan, which had its start as a French Norman family brought to Scotland by King William the Lion. The manor, then a large tower with walls, was burned in 1493 as the Cheynes fought with the Hayes. The Scottish Privy Council declared the Hayes must pay £20, a large sum at the time, for the damages. The Cheynes then used the money and rubble to rebuild the site as a new tower house. You might remember we recently explored the Hayes' own abandoned mansion in the link at the top right not long ago. Later, in 1564, the family's fortunes grew as Patrick Cheyne was made Baron of Asylums by Mary Queen of Scots after she stayed there while fighting George, Earl of Huntly, the head of the Gordon clan. The Gordon clan had become famous in their patriotic struggles in which their chief, John Gordon, was killed at the Battle of Otterburn in 1388 and his son, Sir Adam Gordon, was killed at the Battle of Homildon Hill in 1402 fighting the English. In 1449, Alexander Seton, 1st Earl of Huntly, changed his name to his mother's family name of Gordon, and his heirs became the chiefs of the clan. For Alexander's later contributions in defeating the Douglas clan, he was named Cock of the North. The Gordons were to fight in the Battle of Haddon Rig in 1542 and at the Battle of Pinkie Cleugh in 1547 in support of the Scottish throne. However, in 1562, George Gordon, 4th Earl of Huntly, was captured at the Battle of Corrahee while fighting James Stuart, a close relative of Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary had given his title, the Earl of Moray, to James, and George had refused her entry into Inverness Castle, causing her to exile him. He died of a stroke shortly after his capture, and his body was made to stand trial. After the trial, his son was executed and his lands and titles seized by Mary. By 1575, Asylums was known to have a tower and an artillery fortalice, or small fort. However, family fortunes declined, and by 1607, John Cheyne was in debt and forced to sell his lands to the Hay family, and the castle itself went to the Keiths, the Forbes, and then to a famous painter of the Reformation period, one George Jameson, who was a possible student of Dutch portrait painter Van Dyck. In Aberdeen, he had become popular painting rival academics of King's and Marischal colleges, and by 1633, he was asked to work on a triumphal arch decorated with all the kings of Scotland as part of a contest. He won and was allowed to paint the visiting King Charles I, who gave him a ring off his finger as a reward for the good work. Jameson then became very popular, and the Scottish nobles demanded he paint them. Mary Erskine is possibly his most famous portrait, and in time he became rich, buying Asylums and 2 other homes before dying in 1644. In 1646, the castle was captured by a group of Covenanters who were defeated inside it by the royalist captain Blackadder. No, not that Blackadder, who killed 36 of them there. The Covenanters were a Presbyterian group that had risen up against Charles I's religious reforms, eventually winning the war and capturing him, but later crushed by Cromwell, and then again Charles II on his return to the throne, with much following slaughter. By 1728, it was again sold, this time to Robert Gordon of the same clan as the Earl of Huntly, who the Cheynes had helped defeat and who had been executed for treason by Mary Queen of Scots. After this strange plot twist, in 1769, a nearby mansion was built where the Gordon family still lives today, and the castle was abandoned. From here, gradually locals took parts of the walls and the castle to build houses or field walls, leaving what we see today. Some archaeological digs were done in 1938, which found a medallion and a coin of William III. More importantly, the foundations of the first castle were discovered, proving to be a much larger site, featuring a huge tower house with 6-foot-thick walls surrounded by a 5-sided layer of 4-foot-thick outer walls, each with a small tower. This in turn was surrounded by a ditch. The newer castle was built in its image on a smaller scale to its east with 4 stories in an L shape with a built-in round tower. As we walk further inside, a number of different wall thicknesses give away the dates of building. There's a mashup of styles and features that are more castle with others that are more house-like. The walls at this window are about 3 feet thick, which was the minimum for a castle and more typical of a later build date. On the ground are the bones of a small animal. This corbelled chamber on the side appears to be a lookout window as part of a small turret. Walking back through to the first entrance, you can see how the walls on this side area are thinner, meaning this was a later addition to add space. Here can be seen a curving stair that would have led to the upper levels. This ominous, dark, cave-like chamber appears to be a cold cellar and was attached to the kitchens. This round tower is very thick and has many windows and a fireplace higher up. Digs show that it was one of 5 towers of the original outer wall of the first castle on the site and was preserved and built into the new castle. This arched room and section is likely at least 600 years old. Looking up a sidewall far above, the channel of a chimney flue allowing smoke to escape the castle can be seen. While small, this place holds many little details, like this carved doorframe and notch for a beam or rod that secured it. The ground around the site is marshy, uneven with fallen stones and overgrown. Underneath our feet are the remains of older walls, tower foundations, and all around us the field walls are built with the same stones. As the rain returns, we say goodbye to this small but interesting place, once a house of a famed painter, a site of a frantic combat, and a warm home to many. As we continue across an abandoned Scotland, we enter the ancient dark time of Samhain, where the Celtic tribes of this land believed the boundary between this world and the other world weakened and could be easily crossed. I'm both troubled and excited to bring you the creepiest, most shocking experience we've ever had exploring, which began when we entered these woods and found this crumbling gate. Subscribe and explore with us today.